Hi, my name is Beatriz Lorca, and this is my wonderful husband, Beatriz Lorca. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1999. My biopsy was in 2019. And at that moment that needle went in, I think we all knew what was coming. I've been to 3 surgeries. I've been through a chemotherapy and radiation, and came out very strong and blessed. In 2000, my surgeon was here from Covington, Louisiana, Dr. Ordoin, and very skilled, and he was able to do a lumpectomy and save my breast. And then I got treatments at Ochsner in New Orleans, and Dr. Cardinal was my doctor. They were very kind and loving. And then in 2010, cancer came back with full power, metastatic. And then I went to MD Anderson in Houston, and Dr. Boozer, like I say, it's God in heaven and him on earth. He told me with a lot of kindness and love, he said, "I hope you believe in God." And I told him, I said, "I do." He said, "Because really, there's not much we can do for you." He said, "You need a miracle. You really do. I'm not going to give you any more chemo radiation because that's not going to make a difference. But I'd rather give you quality of life. And you pray and believe that, you'll be able to see your daughter grow." And also he said there is an anti-hormone, that time was tamoxifen. He said, "I don't want to keep your hopes up because really it doesn't work for a lot of people, but that's all I can offer at that time." And he said, and again, because he too believes in God, and he said, "Just keep on praying and asking for miracles." So I have to thank him, and also all his staff. They were so loving and kind, but especially I thank my husband. I thank my family for all their support. They were amazing. Grandmother came to take care of me, and at the same time, my father was battling cancer, lung cancer. So when my father was having surgery and he almost died from it because they cut one of his arteries, I was having my first treatment, my first chemotherapy treatment. So my mother came because my father, he was a surgeon, a doctor. He said, "No, Beatriz needs you." So he sent my mom to be with me and my brothers to stay with my father there. So at the same time, we're battling cancer and fighting for our lives. But my father, he lost his fight sooner. He did the treatments, but he went into a coma. The treatments fried the remaining of his lung, and he did not make it. But he stayed with us for a while, but it was a kind of a short battle. But here I am, 21 years, y'all. If I can do it, you can do it. And I thank God most of all for his mercy, for his grace, and I know he has a plan. And I meet people all the time, they're like, because I am a miracle, I'm stage 4, I'm metastatic. And here I am with there's not much medicine can do, but I keep on being grateful and thankful and fighting with every drop in my body and spreading love and hope. And I tell you, don't give up. No matter where you are, we need to continue believing miracles. He's powerful and he can do it. And this is my story. I was born in Ituiutaba, in a small town in the countryside of Minas Gerais, Brazil, dedicated to agriculture and cattle raising. My father was a brilliant gentle, dear, and respected surgeon who saved hundreds of lives. My mother, a very smart and creative woman, at that time a teacher at her fashion sewing school and a connoisseur of fine foods and gourmet cooking. I grew up with my cousins and a group of friends, and we attended the same private school from kindergarten to high school. We walked to school that was half a block from my house. On weekends, we'll go to the farm with my grandparents and or my uncles and cousins. We would ride horses, swim in streams and lakes, climb trees to pick and eat fruit, drink milk directly from the cow, play theater, and spend hours at night singing, listening to frogs, cicadas, owls, and seeing the stars and the moon. Life was simple but full of joy and fun, together with family, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, and friends. When my father studied general surgery in North Carolina, he would tell us stories about the amazing people he met at the hospital and how much he loved living in the USA. When I was 12, our family sponsored an American exchange student named Kevin. I was fascinated by Kevin's bravery and independence. He inspired me to participate in an exchange program too. So, when I was 16, I went to the United States to stay with a host family in Springfield, Illinois. It was a very difficult, challenging year. Since I could not speak the language, I felt very isolated and left out. I went to a public school, and it was literally a year of much solitude, culture shock, and learning. Being the only foreign exchange student in the school, friends were hard to make, and I felt out of place, and that I did not belong there. Even though I miss my family, cousins, and friends back home in Brazil, I was still fascinated by the freedom of American culture. When I ended my program and returned to Brazil, I decided I wanted to skip college and go to work. At the age of 17, I began to work and assume various responsibilities at Banco Nacional. That was a bank. Although working and making money became more important than going to college, I finally saw the importance of getting a degree, and I studied economics at FAAP in São Paulo. During this time, I fell in love with my husband, Patricio, and moved to the United States. As soon as I landed in my new home of America, I felt my life change. I loved how I could spread my wings and be independent. To me, the sky had no limits. Being a banker was never a dream. I wanted a more creative career, so I went back to school to study computer graphic design in Tempe, Arizona. Patricia got a job offer from General Motors, and we moved to Michigan and got married. I was living the dream, working for BX, a company that did work for Disney as a graphic designer. But this job had horrific deadlines. The stress was very high. A few months after my husband's job transfer to Louisiana in 2000, and after building my dream house in Madisonville, is when I received the result of my biopsy. My life turned upside down. Ironically, at the same time, my father back in Brazil was also battling lung cancer. When he lost his cancer battle, my world collapsed. My values changed, and I came to know and have a relationship with God. Turning to God helped me with my own fight with cancer. My doctors were not optimistic, but I prayed. that none of the chemotherapy treatment and radiation would keep me from having a healthy baby someday. God answered my prayers, and 2 years after treatment, I had my healthy, beautiful daughter, Chloe. My pregnancy was perfect, and I glowed with joy and excitement. Chloe is the guiding light of my healing and recovery. Sometimes I reflect on my childhood and the simplicity of the happy countryside life in Ituiutaba. Before breast cancer, I was hustling through life. It has given me a gift that I can now teach my daughter. Slow down life enough to eat the fruit of the trees, listen to nature's unique orchestras performing unmatched symphonies, and stare at the moon, and don't miss the shooting stars.